It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a tea to bring you. Not just any old tea, of course. It's a beer related tea. This is by Brew, and this is their tea. A strawberries and cream fruit tea IPA. It's coming in at 6% ABV. It looks interesting, doesn't it? The can looks interesting. I suppose if you're a brewery, I'm still trying to get my head around this whole kind of 2022, like fruited beers, like going almost as mad as you can and still calling it a beer. Like this, it's called India Pale Ale, so it's technically an ale, but the name of the beer is tea. Strawberries and cream fruit tea IPA. I don't know. I think the best thing I can do here is get it out into a glass, see what we get. 440ml, 6% ABV. Right, this is their 6th birthday quad pack. So this is part of 4 beers that they released for their birthday. 6th birthday, Brew York. So here is a look at the beer then. We got a 2-finger white head. It's hazy, little bits and pieces floating around in the glass here. So it's definitely an unfiltered beer. You can see with the bits and pieces floating around that it's unfiltered and nice and hazy. Even from this distance, even from this like half-arm distance, I'm able to definitely get the strawberries and cream. I really want to get all of the beer, which I have done, into the glass, so I'm able to kind of get a really good first impression of the beer, and not just like some, because a lot of the sediment makes its way into the bottom of the can, and I want to get that sediment into the glass, so I'm getting a really good representation of what this beer should be. Nice and hazy then, less slow moving carbonation. Let's get the aroma. The head retention's really good as well. The head stayed around nicely. It smells like Haribo, see. It's like, do you know when you walk into we don't really get sweet shops anymore, do we? We get more like convenience stores. But whenever you go to a convenience store, the sweets and the chocolates always by the front desk. It's always where you pay. Sweets and chocolates are always around that area, whatever sweet shop you go to. Probably to stop the kids from stealing them. You get that kind of sense that when you're paying for a loaf of bread or you're paying for some butter, growing up there was always an open rack of penny sweets where the kids would have a few pennies and say, I want some of them, some of them, some of them. And you'd get a whiff of that sweet shop kind of convenience store Haribo. For me, I've taken myself down a different route. I like real savoury stuff. I'd rather eat nuts, brown bread, crisps, little bit of chocolate, obviously not savoury. But I moved myself away from like Haribo sweets. I'm not a fan. I stopped having any sugar in my tea, sugar in my coffee. I've tried to limit as much as I can my sugar intake. And I suppose the problem with that is that then when you're faced with something like this, where it seems really sweet and really Haribo-like, I'm almost daunted by the fact that there's so much of like a strawberry Haribo aroma in this beer. It's almost scaring me. Oh, it's properly full on. Creamy strawberry milkshake bottles used to buy as a kid. Let's dive in. There's no more getting round this one. There's no more talk. I just got to get in. I did a live stream with Brew York, and they brought me these beers, and I think I was just in the moment. I just think I was. Craft Republic was standing there. We had Wayne and Lee for Brew York standing at the end of the bar. I started off. I think this is the third beer we tried. We had Diana Voss, which was a nice Voss Pale Ale. We'd had a couple of lagers to start, so we were already, or I was anyway, I can't talk for anybody else, but I was already kind of like well on my way to an enjoyable evening. And I think by the time I got to this stage, I was having so much fun that I didn't really kind of maybe not concentrate fully on this beer. I'm sure the guys at Brew York won't mind. I've kind of explained my taste buds the best way I possibly can to people. I don't have any sugar in my tea. I don't eat sweets and whatnot. The best way I can describe this beer is if you eat a lot of sweets. If you've got a really sweet tooth, then you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. This is gonna be right up your alley, right up your street. You might even buy a 12 pack of it. You'll probably thoroughly enjoy it. On the other hand, I really don't like sweet beer. I really don't like sweet beer. I got to the point now where if a beer's not hoppy enough and it's just malty, it's just a malty brew, I can get that sweetness and I'm like it's just too sweet for me. Say like a regular best bitter from a regional brewery. I find that too sweet. That's slightly different. That's got a nice bitterness to it. The Marston's Burton bitter. But even beers like the Brains Bitter there or Brains SA, I find them too sweet. Now, 80% of people who would drink Brains Bitter or Brains SA would look at me and go, it's not sweet at all. It's not sweet at all. So even I'm in that kind of 20% minority really that thinks beers like Brains Bitter, regional brewery ales are just too sweet for my palate. I prefer much more kind of bitter beers, much more aggressive bitter, even New England IPAs. That's my style of beer. This was always going to be a challenge. This was always going to be a real challenge for me to review this beer. I've got to it, I'm doing it, I'm sipping it, I'm drinking it, but it's way too sweet. I mean, like almost burning my throat sweetness. It's a bit like when you offer, say somebody who's never had chocolate before or sweets before, you offer them sweets and chocolate. They'll describe for the first time, the first experience they get is a burning sensation. They'll get a burning sensation from the sweetness. I'm almost getting that kind of burning sensation from the sweetness in this beer. That's how much I've moved my own taste and body away from sweet things. So naturally, it's not for me. But it might be for you. Who knows? If you like sweet things, this might be up your street. Right, what do they say about strawberries and cream fruit tea IPA then? Breakfast, the most important meal of the day, right? Well, we're celebrating our 6th birthday with an epic quad pack of breakfast-inspired beers. We've used strawberry cream fruit tea leaves from local Hebden tea for a fruity composition with intense strawberry flavours, soft creamy notes and subtle tea tannins. Additional lactose adds body and accentuates the berry flavours for a comforting fruit tea infusion. The fact that they've added lactose as well is my biggest bugbear. My biggest bugbear is lactose. I'm like, lactose, why have you done this? Why would you put lactose in beer? Again, you may like it. It's not for me. It's a shame, really. It's a shame, really, because I could have, you know, I've had so many of Brew York's beers I love. Goose Willis, I think it's tremendous. Some of their stouts, Tom Coco's are tremendous beers. You know, it's a collaboration with Full Circle Brew as well. So what I'm trying to say here is, this is just down to you. This is a guide. As always, it's just a guide. It's for you to work out yourselves whether you like really sweet, strawberry, lactosey, creamy, Haribo, sweet type flavours, or you want something maybe a little bit more traditional. The next beer I'll be reviewing today is a re-review of Proper Job from St Austell, a powerfully hopped IPA. I got a funny feeling I'm going to really enjoy that one. So not for me then, not for me, so it might be for you. Of course, I always rate beer. I can't give this any more, because I won't be drinking the rest. I'd like to say at this point, I won't be drinking the rest of that. So for me, it's an incredible waste, I suppose. So it's a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 for me, Real Craft Beer. It just wasn't for me. Hope you liked the video. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.